Good day to everybody. Today's lecture is all about the assessment of the chest. Actually, I divided the lecture into two kasi you all know that the thoracic cavity is being occupied by two organs. Okay, so the lungs and the heart, as you can see there in the picture. Okay, now, di-divide ko na siya into two para hindi kayo masyadong ma-confuse. So, I will start first with the assessment of the lungs. Okay, now, the picture in front of you, dalawa yan, dalawang klaseng lungs. The one on the left is a normal, healthy lung. Of course, taken from a cadaver na yan. Patay na yung may-ari niyan, lungs and heart na yan. You can see the great difference between a healthy lung and a diseased lung. So, yeah, tingnan nyo, that is an example of a smoker's lung. So, punong-puno na siya ng nicotine. It looks so solid. It looks so compact compared to the left lungs natin na very spongy yung appearance. Look also at the heart. So, bigger yung heart doon sa right side natin. Whereas, at saka iba na yung color niya. Both were taken from a cadaver. Okay? So, ganyan. Ang makikita ninyo, ganyan ang itsura ng lungs ninyo guys kung nagsusmoke kayo. Alright. So, next few slides natin will be about the review of anatomy. I will not be discussing about this anymore, but I included that in your handout so that you can have something to review, something to go back to, okay, regarding the anatomy of the chest. So I will leave it up to you. All right. So to review on the thoracic cage, anterior and the posterior view. So the landmarks, okay, the superficial landmarks which you will be using during the assessment of the lungs. Okay, the lobes of the lungs. The left lung has two lobes. The right lung has three. And the bronchial tree. So look at the main stem bronchi and the trachea. So the trachea or the windpipe is over here. And tingnan niyo yung daanan niya, yung lumen, malaki. So mamaya doon sa assessment of lung sound, so you expect to hear louder sounds, louder, ano tawag mo dito, lung sounds rather. So when air is passing through those large airways compared to the lower segment of the bronchial tree na medyo mas maliliit. So of course, mas maliliit yung daanan, mas mahina yung hangin. Alright, so let us now go to the assessment of the lungs. So, of course, as always, with any other procedure, you explain the procedure to your patient. You do hand washing, okay, before you start the procedure and provide privacy to your patient. Ano ang material na gagamitin ninyo? So, for the assessment of the lungs, you will be needing only one instrument, and this is your stethoscope. So, you have to have your own stethoscope. Okay? So, kasi gagamitin ninyo to hanggang sa mag-duty kayo, hanggang sa magtrabaho kayo. Okay? Even if you're registered nurses, you will be needing this. So, this is an indispensable tool, okay, for a health professional. And these are the different parts of the stethoscope. So, that's a very simple stethoscope, like the one that I will be showing you. Okay? There are more expensive stethoscopes. Wala naman problema kung medyo mura-mura muna. So, baka wala pang budget, at least may magagamit na kayo. Ano ba yung difference between the more expensive stethoscopes compared to may nakita ako sa Shopee na stethoscope na worth almost 200 pesos lang. Ma'am, pwede na po ba yun? Kasi wala talaga akong budget. Yes, you can make use of that. Ano yung difference nila? Kaya yung sensitivity, yung lakas na tunog na maririnig ninyo. So, syempre, mas malakas, mas sensitive yung on how the stethoscope picks up the sounds, your bodily sounds natin, dun sa mga medyo mas mahal na stethoscope. Okay, now, going back. So, this is the stethoscope and these are the parts. Yung nasa dulo, itong sa akin dito, ito yung ginagamit ko lang pang demo-demo, made of plastic. Pero ngayon, silicone na siya. So, these are the earpiece. Okay? Itong bakal na to, these are the ear tubes. Ito yung parang bracket lang siya dito. You can have your name engraved here. Okay, and then you have the rubber tubing. Yan. Okay, then, etong portion na to, you can see this one. Yan. So, this is the stem. Okay, and the entire end of the stethoscope, ito silang buo, this is the chest piece. Now, the chest piece has two parts. You have the diaphragm, and the smaller one, the bell. Okay, anong difference ng dalawa? Yung bell is capable of picking up very finer sounds. Okay, pero ito yung usual natin ginagamit, the diaphragm. Okay, so pwedeng palitan when the parts of your stethoscope becomes worn out. May mabibili kayong mga parts niyan. Pwede silang palitan. Okay, pwede kayong mag-iba ng kulay. Kung gusto ninyong bago naman na yung kulay ng stethoscope ninyo. Right? Even yan, yung sa diaphragm natin, napapalitan yan sa loob. Okay, so bisan yung iba kasi nabubutas. Alright. Now, in assessing the lungs, okay, the chest, kasama yan. Okay, so we will be making use of the four techniques already. In your previous return demonstrations, usually inspection, palpation lang, may nadagdag na percussion, konti do sa face natin, assessment of the, what you call this, the sinuses natin. But for starting, sa assessment ng chest, yung apat, gagamitin na natin, IPPA. So, that's inspection, palpation, percussion, and auscultation. So, you always start first with inspection. Ask yourself, ano yung pwede kong makita using my eyes? Okay? Pag titingnan ko yung pasyente ko, then yun yung lahat ng inspection findings na gagawin ninyo. First and foremost, of course, may skin yan, so you have to take note if there are any lesions on the skin, kung may sugat yung pasyente, anterior and posterior, and then you check for deformity or asymmetry. Tabingi ba yung chest? Okay? Nakalubog ba yung isa? Alright? May mga bukol ba kayong nakikita? Are there obvious lumps? Okay? Na hindi nyo pa hinahawakan, nakikita na ninyo? Are there any abnormal retraction of the lower interspaces during inspiration? Yung lumulubog yung dito sa gilid. Okay? Yung intercostal spaces natin. Retractions of the intercostal spaces are usually due to pneumonia. Okay? So, ibig sabihin that your patient is having difficulty in breathing already. That's why he or she is using the accessory muscles for respiration. And you have learned from your anatomy class that the major muscle for respiration is the diaphragm. Okay? And then, yung ating neck muscles, the intercostal muscles are the ones that helps lalo na during difficulty in breathing pag nahihirapan ng huminga yung pasyente natin. So look for retractions or lumulubog. Okay. And then you check when the patient breathes in and breathes out. Are there any local lagging? Or are there any impairment in respiratory movement? Okay. Shallow ba yung breathing? Yung parang ganun lang, mababaw lang, tapos inhale ulit, or deep breathing ba. Okay? So, titingnan ninyo kung meron bang problema kapag humihinga sa pasyente. Are there any obvious problems when the patient breathes in and out? Okay. And, so, kung meron kayong, kung wala naman pala muna, kung wala kayong nakitang obvious deformity on the chest wall, then fine. So, you just report it as no, you go back to the previous slide. There is no intercostal retraction. The chest cavity or the thoracic cavity, thoracic cage rather, the thoracic cage is symmetrical. Now, if ever meron chest deformities, ito yung pwede ninyong i-check. Now, how are you going to check for these things? Of course, you have to know the normal first. Now, in your anatomy, it was taught to you that the AP diameter, the anterior, sorry, not the AP, the anterior diameter, yung lapad ng chest natin, okay, is double of the lateral diameter. So, yung kapal natin, doble yon So, dalawa nitong tagiliran natin yung ating anterior diameter. So, how are you going to um, measure the lateral diameter? So, you let your patient, you stand on the side, sa gilid ng pasyente. And then, so landmark, itong sa harapan ng kilikili ninyo, that is the anterior axillary line. Draw an imaginary line here. Okay? So, yeah, that's the anterior axillary line. And then sa likod, ganun din, that's the posterior axillary line. So, instruct the patient na tumayo or you stand on the side of your patient, sa gilid ng pasyente. Then, place one of your hand sa anterior axillary line and one hand sa posterior axillary line. Estimation lang yan. Okay? So, for example, ganyan siya kalapad. Okay, kakapal pala rather. So, ito yung anterior axillary, for example, posterior axillary. Huwag niyong gagalawin yung kamay ninyo. Stay lang yung kamay niyong ganyan. And then, instruct your patient to face you. Harap ka po sa akin. So, dapat, yung lapad ng tagiliran ng pasyente mo, supposedly, kalahati ng anterior diameter. Meaning, yung lateral diameter ng patient should equal the half of the anterior diameter. Dapat yung isang hand mo should fall on the anterior axillary line and then the other one should fall in the mid-sternal line. Do you get that? Okay? So, kalahati. So, dalawa niyan, yun yung buong anterior diameter. Okay? Una, sa gilid, tumayo, one hand, anterior axillary, the other hand, posterior axillary. Instruct the patient to face you. Pagharap niya sa inyo, hindi niyo to gagalawin. So, i-move niyo lang. Ibig sabihin, huwag niyo i-compress, basta stay there kung nasaan yung boundaries na nakuha mo. And then, one hand place mo on the anterior axillary. Dapat yung isang kamay mo, dapat mag-land yan sa mid-sternal line, sa kalahati ng sternum. If that's the case, normal yung anterior and lateral diameter. So, that's 1:2. Okay. Now, kung may abnormality, so these are the different chest deformities. The one of which, the first one, is the pigeon chest. So, pag nakita ninyo yung pigeon chest, wait lang, Ella, mark the ano. Okay, so pag nakita nyo yung pigeon chest, ito siya ha, letter A. Ayan. So, ano yung nakita nyo sa pigeon chest? Mas malapad yung lateral diameter versus the anterior diameter. So, yung lateral diameter ng pasyente ninyo is mas malaki compared to the anterior diameter. So, pwedeng yung isang kamay mo nandito sa anterior axillary, then the other hand mo, instead na sa mid-sternal, nandito na sa more than half na of the chest. That's the pigeon chest. Okay? Then the other one, a funnel chest. Ano ba yung funnel? Imbudo. Diba nakaganyan yung imbudo? Mas makipot naman, mas narrow yung lateral diameter with the anterior diameter. So, yung lateral diameter niya hindi umabot dito sa mid-sternal. So, medyo kalahati lang siya. Okay? So, that is a funnel chest. Papaikli na ganon. And then the third one, commonly seen in patients with COPD or chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, is a barrel chest. Okay? In a barrel chest, look at this one, pantay. Okay? So, pantay yung lateral diameter with the anterior diameter. Magkalapad sila. So, para siyang bariles, parang barrel. Kaya barrel chest. Okay? Okay. Ay, tutuldokan ko. Wait lang. Okay, now, all right. There are two approaches, anterior and posterior approach. Now, huwag kayong mag-alala, we will be utilizing the posterior approach para, lalo na kung ang partner nyo is babae, para walang breast exposure. Okay, so huwag kayong matakot. Alright, now, again, so ito yung sinabi ko kanina, identify, inspect for the shape, the symmetry, and pangalawa, aside from yung ginawa natin kanina, measuring or estimating the AP diameter, the lateral diameter with the and the anterior diameter, we also would check the spinal alignment. Okay, how are we going to do this one? So you ask the patient to stand straight, go at the back of your patient and assess the spine. Okay? So ito yung spinal, the vertebral column. O, pasensya na tumatabing lang yung pasulat ko. Okay, burahin natin. Okay, now, it has to be straight. Okay, so the vertebra of a normal patient has to be straight. It has to be in the midline. And then you ask, so nakatayo. And then next one will be, you will ask your patient to stoop. Okay, yuyuko yung pasyente natin. So with the hands dangling in front. Okay ba? Kaya hindi nyo nakikita yung kamay ng pasyente dyan. Nasa harapan. Okay? So, para ka naka-arms forward tapos yumuko ka. Yan. So, you take note of the alignment of the spine. And the girl in pink shorts, kita nyo yung vertebra niya, tabingi. Okay? Naka-curve. So, that is a condition called as scoliosis. Lateral deviation of the spine is called scoliosis. So, in scoliosis kasi, nagkakaroon tayo ng problem with the tawag mo dyan, the strength of the back muscle. Okay? So, itong side na to, that's the weak side. Yung kinulayan ko na violet. So, para yan sa eye muscles natin, naghahatakan yung dalawang set ng muscles natin to keep the vertebra at the midline. And nag-weaken yung kabilang side. So, mangyayari is the other side will pull on the spine or the vertebra toward sa strong side. So, tatabingi siya. And that is scoliosis, the lateral deviation of the spine. Payukuin nyo yung pasyente. You take note again of the location of the spine. Plus, check nyo pala yung shoulder. Forgot to mention. So, the shoulder, kung diretso, walang problema, walang scoliosis yung pasyente, diretso yan. Pati yung hips. Look at a patient with scoliosis. So, yung shoulder niya, higher yung isang side, yung normal side higher. Naka-S. Okay? And then the hips is higher on the opposite side. Okay? Now, if you report your findings, do not say that the patient has scoliosis. No, diagnosis yun. So, you just report that the patient has spinal deviation, okay, or the spine of my patient has a lateral curvature. Yan, ha? And then you classify whether nasaan yung curvature, nasa thoracic, nasa lumbar ba, or thoracolumbar, like what you can see there in the picture. Nasa thoracolumbar region. Now, since hindi nyo naman pagtatanggalin ng damit yung magiging partner ninyo sa repdem, what you can do is that kakapain ninyo yung vertebra. Okay? So, kapain nyo lang yung vertebra. It has to be straight. Kapag kinapa ninyo, tas nag-curve, okay? So, yan na yon. So, scoliosis yan. Okay? Now, again, you don't say that the patient has scoliosis kasi after this, after the physical assessment findings, the patient will be asked to have an x-ray. Okay? So, ipapa-x-ray siya so to verify and to calculate yung angulation, okay, nung spine ng pasyente. So, kung gaano kagrabe yung kanyang scoliosis. Alright, so that is for the assessment for scoliosis. Next, another spinal deformity is lordosis. Lordosis, or the exaggeration of the lumbar curvature rather. Lumbar curvature. Talagang may lubog tayo dito sa likod, diba? Normal yan. So, ito, in patients with lordosis, exaggerated, masyado nakausli yung puwet. As you can see there in the black and white picture. So, how are you going to test for this? Let your patient stand against a wall. Kahit hindi nakahiga. Kaya pwedeng nakahiga. Look at the picture there. And then you insert your hand under the hollow of your back. Normally, you can just accommodate 2 hands underneath. Alright? Now, kaysa pahigain ninyo, pasandalin nyo sa dingding, yung pasyente ninyo, yung heel ng paa should be nakadikit do sa wall and the shoulders also. So, naka-straight yung back mo. And then, you as the examiner, pasok mo dun sa gilid yung kamay mo sa gilid nung lumbar curvature ng pasyente natin. Alright? So, dapat kaya lang niya ma-accommodate isa hanggang dalawang kamay. Pag nagtatlo na yan, ibig sabihin, exaggerated yung lumbar curvature. Okay, the patient is maybe having lordosis already. And then the other one is kyphosis or hunchback, Kuba in Tagalog. Ano naman ang clue ninyo na may kyphosis yung pasyente natin? Nawawala, nagiging shallow yung lumbar curvature. Why? Kasi na-occupy na. Okay, ay, mali. Okay. So, occupied na. Ay, wait. Bakit bumalik? So, occupied na. Hindi ko na maibalik yung slide. Occupied na yung lumbar curvature. So, nagdidiretso na yung likod. So, that's kyphosis. Okay, Kuba. And then, this is just a picture, as example of a patient with scolio, actual patient, and yung x-ray findings. Okay, so kita ninyo to. Asan yung highlight? Okay. So, can you see this one? Okay, this portion, oh, medyo tumabingi na, di ba? Ay, wait. Okay. Ayan, so medyo tumabingi na yung portion na to. Alright? So, yan yung corresponding x-ray niya. So, meron lumbar scoliosis yung pasyente natin. Okay, so after inspection, we do palpation. So, we make use of our hands. Alright, now, before you start palpating, before you start touching your patient, of course, ask permission first and ask if there are tender areas. So, kung medyo may tender areas, you assess it last. So, anong gagawin ba natin dito in palpation? Okay, dalawa yung gagawin nyo dyan. So, you do the chest expansion test and the tactile fremitus. So, papaano ba yan si chest expansion? Dito na lang tayo sa likod kasi ito yung gagamitin ninyo. So, you stand behind your patient, you place your hands in the costal margin like what you can see there. Then, your thumb should be adjacent to the vertebra. Okay? And then, you will ask the patient to take a deep breath. So, inhale, exhale po tayo. Your hands should move with inspiration and expiration. So, when the patient inhales, the thoracic cage, thoracic cavity enlarges. So, your hands should move outward. Okay, inhale. Pag nag-exhale, it has to go back to the midline. And take note of the pinched area between the thumb. Okay, merong rason yan. So, para makikita ninyo kung gumagalaw ba talaga yung kamay ninyo. So, during the return demonstration, since hindi nyo naman pag ipapa-undress yung pasyente, make sure yung damit iayusin ninyo. Dapat fit para makita yung yung movement ng hands. Okay? So, take a deep breath and observe for the movement of your hands. So, it should move as the patient inhales and it should go back when the patient exhales. Alright? So, ano tawag dito? Take note of any lagging. Meron bang kamay na naiiwan or yung isang side ba hindi gumagalaw? Kasi baka nag-collapse na yung lungs. That's the reason why when the patient takes a deep breath, takes in air, hindi siya gumagalaw. Okay? So, dapat sabay nagagalaw yan. Alright, so take note of any lagging. So that's chest excursion. You can also do that in front, kaya lang pag female, medyo baka mahiya pa kasi may breast. Okay? So you make use of the posterior approach. And then the next one is checking for the tactile fremitus. Tactile means may gamit kasi kayong kamay. Then look at the positions there. Posterior approach tayo ulit. So you make use of the palmar surface of your hand or the ulnar surface as what you can see there in the picture. Yung tatlong pictures dyan, sa baba, the first one is when you check for the chest expansion, and then the other two is for the tactile fremitus. So you can do it like this or nakaganyan. Okay. So, ako kasi I prefer doing it like this. So, dun sa mga naka-landmark na yan, naka-number na yan, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the locations where you are going to place your hands. Sa pinakataas, bakit meron nandito? Mabalikat na yan na. Meron pa tayong long tissue dyan. Okay? The long tissue extends 3 to 4 centimeter above the clavicle. Okay? So, nandito siya. Now, kasama yan sa i-assess natin. So, you place the palms of your hand at number 1 position, then you ask the patient to say 99. 99. Patient ha, hindi kayo ha. Then, move to the middle part of the posterior chest, 99, 99, and sa gilid, 99. Okay? Bakit pati sa gilid? Kasi may lung tissues pa rin tayo dyan. Remember, the right lung has 3 lobes. So, the middle lobe is somehow located anteriorly. Okay? So, may konting-konting portion lang dyan sa gilid na yan ng middle lung. So, you have to still assess it. Okay? So, that's the vocal fremitus or the tactile. Specific is tactile kasi hahawakan ninyo siya. Tactile fremitus. Anteriorly, ito yung mga landmarks. But again, hindi na kailangan gawin yan. Posterior approach na lang tayo. Okay, and then next, the third technique is percussion. So, percussion, again, if you percuss the chest in front, okay, so mape-percuss nyo rin pati yung heart. Plus, medyo it will be a bit difficult if you percuss, if your patient is a female. Kasi I intentionally included that picture kasi to show you how difficult it will be kung female yung pasyente because you have to displace the breast. Plus, baka mahihiya syempre yung pasyente ninyo, yung classmate ninyo pag nag-rep them. So, same, what do you call this, na nakikita nyo sa anterior chest na yan, same landmarks. Ganun yung gagamitin natin sa posterior chest wall. Okay. So, eto siya. Okay. So, yung percussion na tinuro ko sa inyo, middle finger, the distal interphalangeal joint should be in contact with the area that you are going to percuss. And the area that you will be percussing should be the intercostal space, not the bone. Okay? Kasi iba yung tunog. Wala kayong maririnig na tunog pag buto ang pinercuss ninyo. So, nakikita nyo, 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay? So, you do the percussion, same with auscultation mamaya, side by side. Okay? Side to side. 1, 1, lipat sa kabila. Pwedeng pababa, 2. Pwede rin namang 3 sa kabila. Basta ang importante, side to side. Okay? So, 1, baba, 2, hanggang 3, 4, 5, and then sa gilid. Pwede magpalitin niya 6 and 7 na number. Walang problema yan. Pwede 6. Basta importante, pagka 6, yung to replace the number 7 there, 6. Doon din kayo sa kabila, 6. Sa taas nun, 7, 7. So, hanggang dito sa gilid. Again, rationale, because we have lung tissues there. Same with the number 1 spot. Okay? May lung tissues. Normal lung findings natin, lung percussion finding is resonance sound. So, ito siya. Okay? So, ito si, highlight natin. Okay. So, ito si resonance. Actually, ang hyperresonance is para si resonance din yan. Okay? So, hindi naman depende kasi sa amount of air na at saka kung kailan yung na-percuss, kung during inhalation or exhalation ba yung pasyente. Okay, so resonance sound, yan, yung normal percussion lung finding. Do this. Percuss your clavicle or the collarbone. Place your distal interphalangeal joint on the clavicle. Medyo idiin. Dito na lang, nahirapan ako. Medyo idiin ninyo. Idiin konti. And then, strike it with your flexor fingers. 1, 2. Pakinggan ninyo. Dapat walang maingay para maririnig ninyo. Don't know if you can hear it. Okay? That is a flat sound. Same with when you percuss your thigh. Flat sound yan. So when you percuss over a bone, over your thigh, over a muscle, or yung dyan sa table ninyo, yung tunog na yan, that's flat sound. But when you percuss over a solid organ like the heart, the liver, pancreas, for example, what you will be eliciting is a dull sound. Now, sa lungs, resonance sound. Resonance lang or resonant, okay? Resonant sound. Lungs nyo lang yan maririnig. Ulit ha, compare. Okay, percuss over the clavicle. 1, 2. And then you slide dito, wag dito kasi medyo malapit sa bone. Dito sa may malapit na sa shoulder nyo, yung space dyan. Okay, under the clavicle, you have the first bone, di ba? So, on top of that, nandiyan na yung lung tissue. Apex of the lungs. Lagay nyo ulit si middle finger and percuss. Pakinggan ninyo yung difference. Do it. Okay? Para siya slightly may tambol sound, but not as drum-like as that of timpani. Okay, timpani is heard when you percuss over a hollow organ like the bowels, the stomach. Okay, yung may areas that can contain air, a lot of air. Okay, ma'am, yun lang, merong air. Yes, may air, pero may solid ano rin yan. Okay, may tissues din yan. So, resonance yan. So, compare dito sa area, yung malapit na rito sa balikat, okay, itong portion na yan, percuss. Okay, I don't know if you can hear this. That's a resonant sound. And over a bone, oops, yeah. Okay. Okay, so mas solid yung tunog over a bone, right? So those are the normal percussion sounds natin. Since chest and lungs tayo, lungs ang discussion natin, then it's resonance. Okay, normal percussion sound over the lungs. And again, ayan yung percussion areas natin. Okay, same with the auscultation sites. Now, the last technique is auscultation. So you have to make use of your stethoscope. Okay, diaphragm. So make sure na nakakabit yan sa tenga ninyo. Okay, so naka-earphones ako kaya hindi ko ma-shoot. So, kung yung areas na kung saan nyo pinercuss, again, intercostal spaces ilalagay yung diaphragm of the stethoscope. Same with percussion. Okay? So, there are 3 normal lung sounds. Normal meaning, ito yung maririnig ninyo in a healthy lung. And if ever you will be hearing those sounds, those supposedly normal sounds in other areas of the lungs, hindi na normal yan. Okay? So, abnormal na yan. So, further testing will be done. Okay, so what are these auscultatory sounds? So, you have the vesicular breath sounds or the breath sounds, tawag natin dyan. So, vesicular breath sounds are heard through inspiration that continues without pause through expiration. So, dire-diretso, inspiration and expiration, maririnig ninyo si vesicular sounds. And then, they fade away about 1/3 of during the expiration. So, pahina siya. Okay, pahina yung tunog. Mamaya, we have examples. So, para mapakinggan ninyo. Now, as I suggest na you make use of your earphones para marinig ninyo. Okay, so vesicular sounds are soft and low-pitched lung sounds. Next are the bronchovesicular. So, naririnig yan sa vesicular sounds sa base ng lungs natin, where the air passages are smaller, are very small. Okay, next are the bronchovesicular sounds. So, these lung sounds has both inspiratory, can be heard rather, during inspiration and expiration. Okay, at about equal length. Okay, and at times, may maririnig kayong parang silent interval. Pag inhale, not unlike vesicular inhale, exhale, yung tunog maririnig nyo. Ito, meron kayong short pause between inspiration and expiration. Okay. Now, the differences in pitch and in intensity are often more easily detected during expiration. And si bronchovesicular breath sounds are commonly heard sa may, sa may going upper lobe hanggang middle lobe of the lung. Okay, or half of the lower lobe in what do you call this, in the left lung. And then the third one are the bronchial breath sounds. These are louder and higher in pitch, and this is heard over large airways. A very good example. Okay, actually, bronchial breath sounds can be heard anteriorly. Okay, dito, oh, ito yung, di ba, trachea, and then pagbaba over here, just the level of the manubrium or the second intercostal space. Okay, so first ICS, rib, second ICS, ito na siya. Okay, so naandyan. C, bronchial breath sounds. This is where you can clearly hear the bronchial breath sounds. Mas malakas yung tunog. Kumpara mo dun sa bronchovesicular and the vesicular breath sounds. A variation of the bronchial breath sounds is the tracheal sound. So you try to, para lang ma-appreciate niyo, place the diaphragm of your stethoscope at on top of the manubrium of your sternum, dito sa bigawin leeg, and then mag-inhale ka. Don't speak, don't talk, inhale, exhale lang. Okay? So, dinig na dinig ninyo yung malakas na pagpasok ng hangin. Guys, baka gayahin nyo tong nandito sa video, ha? Kaya hindi nakasuot sa tenga ko kasi po ay naka-earphones po ako while recording. Alright? Make sure, ma'am, wala po ako marinig na breath sounds. Ma'am, wala pong breath sounds yung patient ko. Ano, patay yung pasyente mo, kaya walang breath sounds. Okay? So, yung pala nakalimutan nyo lagay sa tenga. Make sure nakalagay sa tenga. And before nga pala nyo ilagay sa skin, warm the diaphragm first because this is made of metal, malamig, baka magulat yung pasyente. And this should be placed directly over the patient's skin. Wag on top. I repeat, wag on top of the shirt of your patient. Why? Kapag t-shirt yan, like this, pag nag-inhale yan, syempre pwedeng gumalaw yung t-shirt, may grating sound kayo maririnig. Baka akala nyo may abnormal sound kayo na naririnig doon sa area ng lungs na yon. Under. So, kung ganito, kunyat, ganyan, pasok nyo dyan sa loob ng t-shirt. Pasok nyo sa loob ng scrub suit. Okay? And then, ask the patient to take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Again, nasa tenga to, ha? Nakakabit sa tenga. Okay. So, those are normal auscultatory sound. Now, the next slide will show you, it's a video, okay, showing the sounds yan, another video para lang for your reference, para mapakinggan niyo yung mga normal breath sounds.
Hey everyone, this is Sarah, registered nurse RN.com, and in this video, I'm going to let you listen to 3 normal lung sounds. This will be part of a review series of the lungs. I'll be doing a video on abnormal lung sounds as well as a lecture and skills demonstration video as part of this series. So let's get started.
Bronchial. Bronchovesicular. Mahina, di ba? Heard between the scapula. Vesicular. Lakas, inhalation, expiration. Mas mahina.
Okay, thank you so
Alright. So, yun yung ating normal breath sounds. Alright, if there are normal breath sounds, of course, there are abnormal breath sounds. Abnormal breath sounds are called as adventitious sounds. Alright, so these adventitious sounds, once heard, okay, will undoubtedly tell you that your patient is suffering from something. Now, commonly, yung mga pneumonias natin, bronchitis, asthma, okay? So, the next slides, the next video rather, will let you hear some of the adventitious lung sounds that we have. Okay, so you try yung iyang crackles na nakalagay dyan. So, discontinuous sounds called as crackles or rulls. Ang difference lang yung dalawa, yung rulls mas medyo high-pitched. Okay? Ay, baligtad. Low-pitched pala, sorry. Okay, crackles or in Tagalog, yan yung halak. Try to rub some hair. Get few of your hair strands. Rub it between your fingers. Yung pumuputok-putok na nadidinig ninyo yan. I hope you are doing that, ha? Para dinig ninyo yung sinasabi ko. Okay? So, yang tunog na yan, example yan, halos kamukha ng crackles. Yung rals, low pitch lang dyan. Maririnig nyo doon sa next video natin. And then, so yun yung discontinuous, ibig sabihin putol-putol. Now, for the continuous sounds, you have wheezes and bronchi. Now, wheezes are commonly heard in patients with bronchial asthma. This adventitious sound is heard when air is passing through a narrowed airway. Maliliit yung airway in the case of bronchial asthma. Alright? And then ang kaibahan niya lang with ronchi, si ronchi mas high pitch yan. Ay, mas low pitch rather. Alright? So, again, plug in your earphones and then you listen to the long sounds in the next slide natin.
Hey everyone, this is Sarah with RegisteredNurseRN.com. In this video, I'm going to let you listen to 6 abnormal lung sounds, which will include wheezes, stridor, crackles, and pleural friction rub. This will be part of a review series of the lungs. Also, be sure to check out the video on normal lung sounds as well as a lecture and skills demonstration, which is part of this series. So let's get started. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can go to our channel to find more videos on nursing skills, NCLEX prep, and more. So please subscribe and share this video with others.
Okay, and lastly, you have the transmitted voice sound. So, ano ba itong mga transmitted voice sounds na to? Now, if ever, kanina, I hope you remembered what I told you a while ago, na if ever, for example, the bronchial breath sounds that normally should be heard dyan sa upper airway natin, okay, was heard in other areas of the lungs, then you have to verify, okay, do the transmission voice sounds test. So kung saan nyo siya narinig, doon nyo itatapat yung stethoscope dito. Now, for return demo purposes, gagawin nyo pa rin yan. Kahit na wala kayong narinig na abnormal breath sounds. Okay? So, what are you going to do? So, you will ask the patient, if abnormally located bronchial or bronchovesicular breath sounds are heard, you have again to assess the transmitted voice sounds using your stethoscope. Okay? So, you ask your patient to say 99. Normal speaking voice, 99. 99. So, as you move your stethoscope, para kayo nag-auscultate. Okay. Normally, yung maririnig ninyo, yung magre-register na voice ng pasyente, maiintindihan yung 99, pero muffled. Mahina lang. Alright? Now, if you will be able to hear the words 99 clearly, as in po, paano nyo naririnig sa akin yung 99. So, ibig sabihin, so this is a condition called as, this is a finding rather, called as bronchophony. Okay? Bronchophony is usually seen in conditions, actually silang tatlo, are seen in conditions with lung consolidation, meaning the lungs or the voice sounds are transmitted or there's let me rephrase that. So there is an increase in the transmission of the voice sounds. It means that yung supposedly air-filled lung becomes airless, napalitan ng secretions, napalitan ng plema. Okay? So, naimbis na nabuo, kumbaga, yung baga ng pasyente ninyo. Okay. Now, 99, 99. So, kapag narinig ninyo na clear yung 99, using a normal speaking voice, that's bronchophony. Then, next, actually, kasabayan ni bronchophony, jump muna ako, whispered pectoriloquy. Ito naman, let your patient whisper, bubulong yung words 99. Kanina for bronchophony, normal speaking voice. Okay? 99. Kahit palakasan niyo 99, maririnig niyo parang para maiintindihan yung 99. Okay? So, hindi lang ganito kasi ka-clear na 99. Okay, now for whispered pectoriloquy, bubulong siya. 99. 99. Parang ganyan. Okay? So, normally ulit, muffled yung sound. Para kang nasa ilalim ng tubig, parang ganon. Okay, but if you hear the whispered words 99 clearly, it means that your patient also has consolidation, and this is called as whispered pectoriloquy. And then lastly is checking for egophony. So egophony, E, yun yung sasabihin ng pasyente ninyo. So you ask the patient to say, pahabain ninyo, E, tapos lipat. Siguro kahit mga 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds siguro. E, tapos lipat. E. Okay, kahit na hindi yung 7 basta enough na ma-cover yung lung field, okay na yon. If ang normal finding natin is you hear a muffled E sound. If instead of hearing E, kahit na muffled, E, ang narinig nyo A, ibig sabihin, abnormal yung transmitted voice sound sa yun, and it is called as egophony. Okay? Also seen in patients with lung consolidation. Okay, now the next 3 slides lets you hear the 3 transmitted, shows you rather how to test for the 3 transmitted voice sounds.
Egophony is a voice sound that can be heard during auscultation when lung consolidation is present. We created this video to cover the medical definition and provide a brief overview of this topic. So, if you're ready, let's get into it. Voice assessment and listening to voice sounds during auscultation can tell practitioners a lot about a patient's respiratory condition. Normal lungs that are filled with air alter the transmission of sound and reduce the clarity and intensity of the words that are spoken. However, when consolidation is present in the lungs, it causes the transmission of higher frequency vocal vibrations, which enhances the clarity and resonance of the words that are spoken. Again, this phenomenon is known as egophony. In order to perform this type of assessment, you can instruct the patient to say the vowel E as you auscultate their chest and compare both sides of the lungs. Over a normal area, the E sound will be heard as normal. However, over an area of consolidation, the E sound will be heard as A instead. Also, while you're listening over an area with consolidation, the spoken sounds will be heard much louder and clearer than over an area without consolidation. And remember, lung consolidation is a term that refers to an area of the lungs that is filled with liquid instead of air. This is a common finding in patients with pneumonia, which means that egophony is a sign of this disease as well. Again, for this video, we just wanted to provide you with a brief overview of this topic. We'll be breaking it down into much more detail in a separate video. Real quick guys, do me a huge favor and hit the like button. It really helps support the channel and I greatly appreciate it. And while you're down there, go ahead and click the subscribe button as well, because we have a ton of other videos on our channel that I think you will enjoy. Just a quick reminder, we are not doctors. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. And if you want to dive deeper and learn more about this topic, you can go to respiratorytherapyzone.com, where we have a ton of free study guides, practice questions, and other helpful resources. I'll drop links to everything you need right below this video down in the description. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have a blessed day, and as always, breathe easy, my friend. Bronchophony is a voice sound that can be heard during auscultation when lung consolidation is present. We created this video to cover the medical definition and provide a brief overview of this topic. So, if you're ready, let's get into it. Voice assessment and listening to voice sounds during auscultation can tell practitioners a lot about a patient's respiratory condition. Normal lungs that are filled with air alter the transmission of sound and reduce the clarity and intensity of the words that are spoken. However, when consolidation is present in the lungs, it causes the transmission of higher frequency vocal vibrations, which enhances the clarity and resonance of the words that are spoken. Again, this phenomenon is known as bronchophony. In order to perform this type of assessment, you can instruct the patient to repeat the word 99 as you auscultate their chest and compare both sides of the lungs. While you're listening over an area of consolidation, the spoken words will be heard much louder and clearer than over an area without consolidation. And remember, lung consolidation is a term that refers to an area of the lungs that is filled with liquid instead of air. This is a common finding in patients with pneumonia, which means that bronchophony is a sign of this disease as well. Again, for this video, we just wanted to provide you with a brief overview of this topic. We'll be breaking it down into much more detail in a separate video. Real quick guys, do me a huge favor and hit the like button. It really helps support the channel and I greatly appreciate it. And while you're down there, go ahead and click the subscribe button as well, because we have a ton of other videos on our channel that I think you will enjoy. Just a quick reminder, we are not doctors. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. And if you want to dive deeper and learn more about this topic, you can go to respiratorytherapyzone.com, where we have a ton of free study guides, practice questions, and other helpful resources. I'll drop links to everything you need right below this video down in the description. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have a blessed day, and as always, breathe easy, my friend.
Whispered pectoriloquy is an exaggerated form of bronchophony. When there is consolidation of lung tissue, even a whispered sound may be louder and easily heard while listening with the stethoscope. Ask the patient to whisper 99 or 123. Marvin, when you feel my stethoscope on your back, I'd like you to whisper 99.
Okay, so you can do that ha, ganyan. Kahit na hindi yung 1 to 7. Okay? Alright, so that's the last one.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is testing for whispered pectoriloquy. So, pwedeng ganun lang kasi hindi yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, di ba? Hanggang 7, parang ang dami. You can do that. Okay? Yung way ng paglagay niya ng stethoscope. So, at ang goal natin is to cover the entire lung field kasama dito sa gilid. Okay, so that ends our lecture on lung assessment. So I hope you can perform Very simple. Okay, yung assessment techniques natin, and I hope everybody has your own stethoscopes already before your return demonstration. Okay, so with that, thank you everybody. I hope you learned something, and good luck on your return demonstrations. And the part two of the chest assessment will be regarding the assessment of the heart. Okay, so thank you everyone and have a nice day.